Building a freelance business is challenging. There's a task of finding clients, there's creating proposals to land new projects, there's delivering the high quality work so you can get reviews, there's making sure your clients are satisfied with your result. And if you really want to grow your freelance business to the point where it generates a steady income for you so that you can rise and work with more fulfilling projects and clients, then reaching this level comes with even greater challenges, like getting on sales calls so you can close bigger deals, increase your value so you can charge more money, all the way to managing your time and finances so that you can free yourself to do more of what you really want. The higher you go, the more complex the challenges can seem to become. But there are 5 things that can make your life as a freelancer a whole lot easier. This is the good news. They certainly did for me once I fully understood how important they are. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the 5 things I wish I knew before I started my freelance business so that you can master them early and create the freelance business that gets you closer to the lifestyle that you really want. So number 1 is create a plan for your life and your income. This is absolutely critical. This is something that you'll hear me talk about a lot in videos, is if you go into any business, it doesn't matter what it is, but especially freelancing, and you don't have a plan around what you want your entire life to look like and your finances, then what you risk doing is coasting along and not having much direction in what you're doing with your actions and your tasks. And so what happens then is if you have a hard day, for example, then it sideswipes you and you just don't feel like doing anything. And that can affect your quality of work. It can affect your prospecting and you reaching out to new people. It can affect a lot of different things. But if you have a plan and you've already gone into your freelance business, setting up this plan for what you'd like your lifestyle to look like, then what happens is you start to become more inspired by the work that you're doing because you have a reason to do it. So you get out of bed in the morning and you say, okay, this is the task that I've got to do, and this is the reason why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I want to spend more time with my family. I want to go traveling around the world. I want to have financial freedom, for example. And all of the tasks that I'm doing today, all of the clients that I'm working with today are helping me to get closer to achieving that plan and that vision. So I don't know if you can see this in the video right now, but I have a vision map on my wall that is all of the major goals for my life and the steps that I need to get there, all mapped out with a vision at the top of where I want my life to go. Now, every single day as I'm working, I see that in front of me and I remind myself and I'm building connections with how is this task that I'm doing today going to help me to achieve that vision that I have right in front of me. So it takes some time, but it's something that is really enjoyable when you sit down and figure that out. So that's building a plan for your life. And this is something that took me a while. I was always into building plans and things like that, but it took me a while to figure out the importance of actually building your income goals around that as well. What it's actually going to take for you to live the lifestyle that you want. It's one thing to just say, I want to have a house, or I want to have this car, or I want to have that, but what does those things actually cost? Sit down and actually write down what all of these things are going to actually cost. And over time, what you'll start to see is as you build that plan, it's like, wow, I actually need to make this per month. Then I've got to pay my taxes. Then I've got all of my expenses every month. And as you start to see that all listed there in a spreadsheet, for example, or you've worked with someone to figure that out, whatever it is, when you see it there, that's when you really go, wow, that's the reality of the situation is I need to get to here if I actually want to live the lifestyle I want to live. So that is number 1 that I suggest doing right from the outset if you're starting your freelance business, is to create a plan for how you would like your life and your income, your finances to look like. So do the maths on that and you'll be very glad that you did. Number 2 is practice every day, even if you don't have clients. So if you get to a day where you don't have any client work and all of a sudden you find yourself saying, oh, I don't really feel like working today, that can cost you big time. And the reason why is because the way our brains work with developing patterns and training and developing habits and getting better at something is we do need that consistent work, because then it goes from what's called unconscious incompetence, where you don't know what you don't know, all the way through to conscious competence, okay? And that is where you know unconscious competence, where you are doing something second nature. Okay, so there are 4 steps to that. And when you're doing that, that means that you're thinking about what you're doing, but it becomes second nature, just like riding a bike when you learn how to ride a bike. So you want to get to that stage, you've got to be practicing really every single day. Sure, it's okay to take days off here and there, but even if you do have a day off, then I would still set aside some time just to make sure that you're working on your craft, because you don't want to let that stretch out to 2 days and 3 days, and then all of a sudden you're like, maybe this isn't for me. You've got to keep up that consistency, and that consistency really helps you when the going gets tough, when the challenges arrive, because you've built that skill, you've built that strength, you've carved those neural pathways in your brain that allow you to do whatever work it is that you're doing as a freelancer much faster, deliver results faster for clients, take on more projects, and actually start to really grow your business. So no matter what happens, practice every day if you can, because you will be very, very, very glad that you did in the long run. So number 3 is your losses are what make you grow, not your wins. So we may think as freelancers that when we get a win, when we land a new client, when we deliver a result to the client and they're super happy, or we get a review, or we get a referral, that these are where we actually grow. And the truth is that they're not really. They're the wins, sure, they're great, but it's the losses that help you to actually grow. It's when a client says, no, this is not good, do it again. Or it's when someone says, no, I don't want to take you on, I've gone with someone else. These are the situations that make us really think, right, okay, what do I need to do to get better? And when you sit and analyze the situation and think, how can I get better and improve for next time? Then that is what forces you to grow as a human being and as a freelancer. So anytime you have a challenge, first sit and ask yourself, what was the benefit of this? And then how can I improve on it for next time? And if you really take the time to do that, then I can absolutely guarantee you that you will improve at a very rapid rate that is beyond most freelancers, because normally most freelancers will get very, very disappointed by challenge, and that can even knock a lot of them off the course completely, to the point where they think, this isn't for me. So if you are able to turn your losses into wins, then you are going to be in the top 10%, if not the top percent of freelancers out there. So remember, it's your losses that make you grow, not your wins. Number 4 is always keep a full pipeline. So depending on how your business is structured, one of the things that's really, really crucial is to always have a full pipeline of prospects and people that you're reaching out to. Now, if you're working on, say, Fiverr, for example, and you're relying on people to come to you, then that's a little bit different. But I'm always of the opinion that if you are a freelancer, you don't want to be waiting around for people to contact you for deals. You've got to be proactive, get out there and make conversations, do proposals, even reach out with customized video screencasts using a software like Loom or something like that, where you can show someone how you can be of service to them cold. They might not even know who you are, but find their contact details, reach out to them and show how you can be of service to them. Now, that's one part of it, but even after you've started to build maybe a little bit of a client base, or you've built a profile, you've got some reviews, that sort of thing, then you want to make sure that you're always keeping that pipeline full. The reason being is because if you rely, let's say you have like 2 or 3 deals in the pipeline, and you're just absolutely certain that they're going to come off, and when they do come off, you're going to be smooth sailing and cruising for the next 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, or whatever. All of a sudden, one of them drops off completely, another one quits the company, or the company shuts down, or whatever it is, and the next thing you know, you've got nothing. And now you have that feeling of, uh-oh, I've got nothing to fill the space. There's nothing left in my pipeline, and now I've got no work. And I've got to start that machine up all over again of prospecting and starting to get some new interest from potential clients, new calls or new messages or whatever it is. And that can be a big struggle. But if you have like an opportunity foundation where you've already built your pipeline to the point where it doesn't really matter if 1 or 2 or even 3 clients says no to you or something happens, then you've got that cushion, you've got that padding where you can fall back and say, that's all right, that's okay, I've still got other projects in the mix. Now, the flip side of this is that if you set yourself up with too many projects, you can run yourself thin to the point where you lose the quality of your work. And this is a belief that runs through the minds of a lot of freelancers where they say, oh, I don't want to have too much work, so I'd rather be a little bit more comfortable than be overworked. And I definitely understand that. I've been in that position. However, I'm much more of the opinion that if you have more work than less, you're in a better position because you can always talk with your clients to potentially extend due dates for work, or you can always be in a position where you can have an opportunity and then say no if it's in your pipeline, as opposed to having to scramble and try and be desperate to get people back, if that makes sense. So always keeping a full pipeline ensures that you can continue working, delivering a service, but whatever happens to your business and your clients or your deals or whatever it is, that you have a foundation there of things to fall back on. You've got contacts made, you've got proposals out there that are maybe like one decision away from being closed, all that sort of stuff. You've got people to follow up with. Okay, so that is number 4, is to always keep a full pipeline. And number 5 is save an ever increasing amount of your income. Now, what this means is that if you have a savings plan set up at the moment, and it might be like, 1% or 5% or even 10% of your income, then one of the things that I would highly suggest doing is every quarter, every 3 months, increase that number by 10%. Okay. Now, the reason why is because over time, as you start to increase your savings, then you start to, over time, the compounding interest can start to kick in if, of course, you are investing those funds in something that's a bit more steady, maybe not so volatile. Now, the reason why as well to do this is because instead of just saving like a certain percent and it just being the same for the rest of your life, then, that can work. That can help you to create a cushion, but it's not really going to allow you to get to financial freedom. So saving an ever increasing amount of your income is a way for you to, over time, start to create an exponential increase in your amount of savings and the amount of money that is invested for you to be able to actually create financial freedom. Now, if this is all totally new to you and you aren't even saving anything at the moment as a freelancer, then this is something that I would highly suggest doing. It does not matter what your income is. There's a lot of people I've heard, and even myself in the beginning was like, oh, when I get to X number, then I'll start saving. No, the universe rewards you for actually starting to save your money first. It doesn't have to be much. It could just be, $10 a month or something like that, $50 a month. When you start saving, then you are sending out the message that you are wanting to manage your money better, and you start to get more money to manage. Okay, so that is super important to start saving if you haven't already. Because as you know, things can happen in the world all of a sudden. And so it's really important to make sure that you have a savings buffer there, a cushion to support you in times of crisis, for example, but also to make sure that you are making your way towards financial freedom. Because as fun as it is to be a freelancer and it's great to work, and especially if you love what you're doing, there might come a time where you want to start doing other things, and so you can transition out more effectively if you have a savings buffer there. And if you've increased that every quarter as you go up over 5, 10, 20, 50 years, then you're going to help yourself to get to true financial freedom, where you really don't even have to think about money. And then you can go on to even higher levels of whatever it is that's most important to you, whether that's eventually doing some philanthropic work, or purchasing your dream home, or traveling the world for the rest of your life, whatever it is, passing the money on to your family. It doesn't really matter. But you're only really going to get there if you start to save an ever progressive, ever increasing amount of your finances. So these are the 5 things that I wish I knew before I started my freelancing career. They did take me some time to figure out, either on my own or through mentors, but these are 5 things that if you can put into practice starting today, I can guarantee you that in a short space of time, you're going to experience the benefits of them. So if you like today's video, then please feel free to leave me a comment if you have any questions or thoughts on the 5 things. Maybe you have something else, you're a freelancer, and there's something else that you wish that you knew before you started your freelance career. Please go ahead and put it in the comments. I would love to know. If you did like the video today, feel free to, of course, click the thumbs up button, and more importantly, hit the subscribe button, because there's going to be plenty more content coming your way for freelance entrepreneurship, and I want to make sure that you don't miss out on that. So thanks for watching today's video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.